So welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And welcome to our monthly debrief for April of 2024. And
damn! You nailed it, boy.
you'll see that we're kind of off to the side a little bit because there's just so many games that we're going to talk about. It's kind of crazy.
I thought we were just shaking it up a little bit.
Nah. This is out of necessity. Partly that's to do with the topic of today's debrief, which we'll get to later on, where we have a lot of games we can talk about. And partly is also, we didn't play so many games in April. We played some.
Are you crazy?
We played a bunch in April? I feel like...
we played a bunch in May. I mean...
We played a bunch in May, so we're going to talk about games that we're going to play.
We played a few, but not a ton.
Yeah,
It was a slow month.
Yes.
For many reasons.
But yeah...
Laziness. Family.
Busyness.
Families.
Yeah,
Darn
it was...
families.
You got to, like, do stuff, go places and see things.
When you're in a commitment like a marriage and a family,
Yeah.
you got to spend time with them or they start to think you don't like them.
It's like... We got to celebrate an anniversary, I guess.
Was it your anniversary in April?
No, it's in May, but that was part of...
That was part of your trip. I thought,
and it's like, every year, really? Is an anniversary really every... We don't have leap years? I'm just saying.
The girls don't watch this video.
And if they did,
so we are
they wouldn't
safe.
give a crap.
Don't worry for us.
Yeah, they're very good-humored.
Many people are out there like, what are they saying? Oh, no, they're going to be murdered.
Yeah. But, so in April, we played a couple games. May, we had Buckeye Game Fest, which we'll talk about. But so we're already after an extremely bumper start.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have another 2 or 3 games lined up still. We're also, just so everyone knows, we have so many videos.
It's ridiculous.
So, like, we went to Buckeye Game Fest, and we made 3 or 4 videos.
4 videos.
And so I'm cramming those up whilst that's, like, kind of in the zeitgeist of what we're doing here. But then that pushes everything else back at least another week. And
2 weeks.
so the stuff that we're playing, like, right now, some of it you just won't see for 3 months. Some of it you will see, because I'll bump it up the schedule.
Well, and
I push back. But...
I'm keeping a track. Because you know how I am. I'm anal retentive.
Yeah.
But I have 29 unboxing videos that you have of mine now. 29.
Yeah, and I have probably, let's say...
I don't care what you've got. I'm saying what I've got now.
No. I'm saying like 10 to 15 of those are probably already scheduled.
Okay, got it.
And then, 2/3 of
or
those
they're already
still,
like...
just on my computer that I got
it. So then I have 11 solo videos.
Yeah.
Between reviews, playthroughs. So that right there is 40 videos. 40.
And that's like not even, like we have a bunch of 2-player stuff.
Oh yeah. It's
still,
insane. It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Just, we're going to talk about some games today and just be patient. Because I get comments sometimes and they're like,
why can't you get that out tomorrow?
I can't wait for you to play this, can't wait for this. I was like, I actually already played it, it's really good. But
Yeah.
you won't find out for a while. Just have some patience with us.
Yeah,
it's not that it hasn't been done, it's that it hasn't been released yet.
Well, we've often said that if the player's aid ever just disappears for whatever reason, we're sucked into a vortex or we abscond with nothing.
We get assimilated into the Borg.
Right. You'll have about 3 months of videos before you even realize, they haven't posted a new video.
It'll drop off. You'll call the authorities and they'll be like, they've been missing for 90 days. Yeah. So just, we're prepared for that eventuality.
I think you're assuming that they would care enough to call the authorities.
Oh, they wouldn't.
Yeah. Someone else would. Our wives. So anyway, we've got a ton of videos. It's unreal.
So let's...
And we made 2 more tonight, and we're...
And this is the 3rd.
Yeah, I quit.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So this monthly debrief, as all our monthly debriefs are, is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. With
a little bit of fly.
A tiny fruit fly. I couldn't tell if it was a smell or not.
No, it was a fly. There he is right over there.
But you had the stink face as well. I was
like,
sorry,
oh no. He kind of got near my nose.
Oh, you don't want to breathe them in. Yeah, so thanks, Noble Knight, in the middle of
sorry about
fruit
that.
fly. They sponsor us. We're very grateful for their sponsorship. We spent a lot of money with them very recently.
They sponsor us, but they also sponsor our addictions.
Yes.
And it's not very nice of them.
It's one of those very cyclical relationships where they're like, here's a sponsorship. Also, we'd like it back.
Yeah.
And so we give it to them, and then they give us board games.
Yeah.
But, a little bit more from them later on, for sure.
And dice and other things.
Oh, also.
Counter clippers. I bought a new counter. My counter clipper died.
Yeah.
That was a sad
As
day.
they all want to do.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about April and what we did play in April, which,
okay.
I'll be honest, we're recording this on May 10th. Feels like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Because we've done a lot of stuff in between.
Okay, so Great Northern War here.
The Great Northern War.
It was one.
Grant, what are you doing?
I don't know.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
I shot the board and then I put it on the wrong way.
Oh, you terrible person.
But now the rules are the wrong way around in the box. So The Great Northern War from Conflict Simulations Limited. Game designed by Ray Weiss. There is a review of this on our channel. This is a really neat game.
A very good game. Very solid.
It's a very small footprint game, and it is a war game fueled by a trick-taking mechanic.
Whatever that means, right? And most people hear that, and I don't think they have any idea what it means. I'm not sure I know what it means.
Yeah, well, and
it worked.
Yeah, when we were like, because that's what this was sold as, and I was like, I have no idea how this is going to work. Yeah. And then you read the rules, and it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Like, oh, that literally, I take an action, we play a little trick, and then...
To see if the action goes off or it goes off as well as it can.
Yeah, and then that's what you do.
Yep.
And so then you have that like manipulation of your hand part of the game, and then that deck of cards is also the timer of the round. It's really neat. This is a really fun game.
Well, and it is very much a war game.
Yes.
Right? I think some other trick-taking games that are out there, like a very Civil Whist, while it might have a little war, those are maybe a little bit more about the trick-taking. This is a war game with some trick-taking kind of incorporated into
you're doing the trick-taking to prosecute a war as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, very good. I enjoyed that significantly. Very much glad we played it. We're going to need to grab that big...
Yeah, this one here.
Big box, because that was another one we played.
We also, in April, played Dutch Resistance, Orange Shell, Overcome! It has an exclamation mark. One must yell.
Ozo!
From Liberation Game Design. So this is... there is also a review of this on the channel.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I was like, oh, did I post it yet? Yes. So if you want this, it is on crowdfunding right now.
Yep,
so
Kickstarter.
Go and get it whilst you can. It's a second printing. There's also going to be expansion in it as well, I believe. Yep. We played just the base game. We did not play with any of the expansion stuff, I believe.
No, we did not have the expansion stuff. We played 3 scenarios in the base game.
Yes, and we played it 2-player a couple of times. We took this 2-player game first and played it 4-player as well.
Yep.
This is not a war game, right? This is a historically themed cooperative game.
Yep.
You are Dutch resistance members trying to evade and avoid the German occupying soldiers and policemen, and try to do all sorts of things depending on what the scenario and what the different kind of tasks and missions look like. Sometimes, you might be establishing your resistance network. You might be smuggling hidden persons out. You might be, we were disseminating newspapers.
Coded newspapers or whatever was going on.
Loading up. We were loading up a pram and a suitcase with,
documents, stuff.
Yeah, like hidden stuff, contraband, and then smuggling that across to different safe houses and stuff.
So it's described as a pick up and deliver game, but that's almost a misnomer.
I think that does it injustice.
It does, because I think people hear that and they think of something that it is not. The pick up and deliver element is typically one of 3 things. There's some other, but it's, like you said, taking specific persons somewhere to smuggle them out of the city, taking specific items somewhere because they're needed for a mission.
Yeah.
Or taking, like those newspapers, to and from areas. You're also collecting resources to buy some of those things.
Yeah, to help you do those other things.
Yep, but it works really well in the historical framework that it's kind of put into.
Yeah.
And truly tells a great narrative, but is also very fun to play. It's a cooperative game, so you are working together against the game itself. We played it 2-player, really loved it. We played it 4-player. I thought it was even better.
I actually am
Which was
inclined
surprising.
to agree, yeah, because we talked about it after we played it 2-player, and it was like, the action economy goes down. So
You have less action.
Is there enough to do? Is it more difficult because you have to bunch up more? And I think it was even better at 4.
Well, it was better because we had more options and access to things because you can only get in certain amount of the spaces. So we kind of spread out over the board, and then we would come together and hand stuff off.
And I think that
was awesome.
I think that showed more of that Resistance network
Cooperation.
better
Yeah,
than
yeah.
the 2-player did. Now that we'd done it, I was like, oh, yeah, it was really good. And I liked that there were fewer turns.
Yes.
Because that time pressure felt that extra stronger. I know that's pretty artificial the way that works, but it came down to the last round.
Yeah, it was.
We had
Very tense, very working together and trying to maximize, and it was just a lot of fun.
really, 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 really good.
Yeah, I'm so glad we played that, and I got an opportunity to play it, and I can't wait for the expansion. Even though we haven't played every single scenario, it's just going to add more and more stuff.
What else did we do in April?
Well,
was it just 2 games? I feel
yeah, we literally just played those 2 games
I was in Chicago
together.
and I was in Minneapolis at one.
Yeah, it was a weird month, but that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
I played several solo games. I played the Spanish Road, and I think you've already played that.
Yeah, I think I played that the month before. Yeah,
but the Spanish Road, which is in C3I magazine number 37, it's a solo game on the Spanish Road, which helped me with the history, European guy.
I don't know exactly, but it was the Spaniards marching through Switzerland and basically through France and the Low Countries to. I don't exactly know why, but there was a religious component.
They were just mad.
Yeah. Who knows why the Europeans were fighting at any point?
They're always fighting over something. But it's a very cool game. A little bit of combat, a little bit of sieging, a little bit about dealing with things as they pop up. I thought one of the best parts was the way the AI kind of moved around the board. I thought it was really cool.
And you could kind of manipulate that a little bit.
Yep, a little bit. But I played that 3 or 4 times. I shot a playthrough video, and I also shot kind of a quick review. Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs, we both played.
I did play that, yep.
That is a solo game based on the Gloomhaven. Yeah, it's very small. Fantastic game. I think I've played 10 or 11 of the scenarios, so I'm almost finished with the arc for the Bruiser is what he's called. Very cool, very unique. Similar to the Gloomhaven game system where you use your cards, but they had to do some things different because it is a total solo game.
Yeah.
Very fun, though.
Yeah, just very enjoyable pocket-sized game.
I played Settlers of Catan with my family.
Nice.
Had a blast. They picked on me, and my daughter, Jane, ended up winning. Had a great time. I had a great picture on Twitter of my smirk as they were just, you know how it is, right? Oh, I'm going to mess him over. Yeah. Then I played, I will show this one because this is an amazing game. Lone Sherman, The Pacific from Mike Lambo. This is one of those solitaire booklet war games, for lack of a better word. This one is set in the Pacific during World War II. It is an excellent game. Very good AI system. This has 12 scenarios, 4 different 3-scenario campaigns. You cut out your counters. You can print them off BGG. That's what I did. You flatten the book out.
Is it flattened decently?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Oh, no. Good. I have my...
Oh, that's lucky.
Yeah. But it flattens very well, and the counters stay on here.
Did you have to, crease the book to do that?
Oh, yeah. And it's designed for that.
Okay.
So you can see it has the extra flap. It actually works really well.
Yeah, that does.
And the counters, there's about 30 counters between. But it works really well. The action economy system is you're rolling 6-siders and then being able to take certain actions. If you don't roll the right numbers, you can't do things like move and shoot.
Then you're driving around trying to move and shoot. Right?
You are trying to take out objectives and get off the map. Very deadly. In fact, the playthrough I did this morning, I took off work at about 11 and shot a playthrough video and I got destroyed. I got shot 2 or 3 times. My Sherman caught on fire. It killed 2 of my guys, and then it just blew up.
It's pretty much over.
And that's fine. You know, it's fun. But that is a great game. $18 on Amazon. You're going to pay about $5 in shipping. Or if you have Prime, nothing.
How long does it take to play?
Each of the scenarios are anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes.
Nice.
And like I said, there's 12 of them.
And,
so,
it's just, you know, for $18, it's one of those games,
yep,
right?
And it's very, very good. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. In fact, he's got a dozen other ones that I'm now looking into. And they're all different. Some are ancient, some are Pacific theater, some are Western European theater, some are like tactical, modern. It just looks cool. Great little system. Very much enjoyed that. I also played, Gift of the Nile multiple times, and I'm now done with this one. I've shot all my videos, but this is from White Dog Games. Ben Madison designed. Excellent game. I love it. So I've played that about 10 times now.
And then, you know, a lot of the good old usual stuff on Rally the Troops was played. Like Andy and Abyss. I played some Nevsky, some Wilderness War, Field of the Cloth of Gold, Time of Crisis.
Yeah.
A lot of Votes for Women I'm playing at the moment.
Yeah, I played a lot of that, yep.
You know, all that kind of stuff is cycling through. So I feel like I play a lot of that, which, you know, it's a great way to get in gaming when you normally couldn't, right?
Well, it's a good way to also connect with people. The reality is we made some friends on there, right? Cullen and Russ.
Yeah, so I met them at WBC, and then we just played on that for like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And then as you
They
started
came to
playing with them
Buckeye
too,
Game
they came
Fest.
to Buckeye Game Fest, so we were able to play again, right?
Yeah, nice guys. And so, yeah, you can play with people online. It's a good time. You got some great options and good games.
Yeah, and I'm playing with the guys in the UK. I'm playing a game with someone from Denmark. Like you just a guy from Poland.
All over the world, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good way to connect to the international community as well because it's async. You just submit your turn.
Yep.
The next day you'll have a turn to do, right? It's a really nice platform.
And it enforces rules.
And it's free.
Yeah.
It's free.
Which I can't believe.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yep.
So I think that was everything that we played in April. I feel like I just didn't do a whole lot in April. But May, we have already played and will continue to play a very unconscionable amount of games, I believe. So,
well, because we went to Buckeye Game Fest, we're going to Buckeye Game Fest. We already went to Buckeye Game Fest. It started on May the 1st, and you know,
and so that was like
that's why this is a week later than it normally is.
So that first weekend, it was kind of like we played I think 11 games over the course of 3 or 4 days there.
Well, we were there Wednesday evening at about 6:30.
Yeah.
We did get a game in that night.
We played Orange Shell Overcome. Yep. We did that 4-player that night. Nice little
blast.
You know, Wednesday night, not many people are there.
No.
You know, the hardcore people who they were playing Dead of Winter, Battle of Stones River that year.
From GMT.
You know, they've already been there for like 4 days.
Since Monday, yeah.
And so those guys did, but, you know, we showed up and then a couple of friends of ours did. And so we sat down and played this nice cooperative game, historical game, nice way to kind of kick off the weekend.
Yep.
And it was neat to see it 4-player again. Really, really, really.
It just offered a different dimension to the game. Very cool.
And, you know, now we've seen 3 different missions.
Yep.
I'm really happy with how varied they are.
Very different.
And, yeah.
And I've said this, but you've got 10 characters to choose from.
Gosh, is it only 10? It feels like more.
At this point, now they're adding, I think, 5 or 6.
Which would,
But you can play a different combination of characters, so you're going to make the game different. Then you have difficulty levels.
It does.
Very easy,
so difficult.
Normal, hard, and then insane. I can't remember what they called
Extreme
it.
or whatever.
Extreme. So, I mean, you add all those permutations in, and I think you would probably have several hundred ways
you have effectively,
to play the game.
An endlessly exhaustible combination of ways
Just
to
interesting.
play it. Yeah, I that was really, really fun. There's a full...
full debrief coming up.
Where we'll kind of go into detail about some of these, but we'll just rush
Maybe we'll just talk through the games a little bit. On Thursday, we then played... we played a new game that's a prototype called A More Perfect Union.
It's coming from Catastrophe Games at some point.
Sometime late this year, Kickstarter, or first of next year.
It was so good.
Yeah, John Lapham is the gentleman's name. He's been working on that game for 10 years. It deals with the ratification of the Constitution in the United States. Fantastic card-driven game based on the Twilight Struggle system, but it is very, very well done. Very good, very fun. We played it in about 90 minutes. Yeah. We caught on pretty quickly because we've played Twilight Struggle a ton and other implementations of the system, but just a blast. I think we got through 6 of the 7 turns and you won.
Yeah.
It's great. So you're the anti-federalist or the federalists. So both are trying to have the Constitution ratified.
It's just with or without amendments.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily good guys versus bad guys. It's just philosophy versus philosophy.
It's just
very good.
Some guys versus some slightly more bureaucratic guys.
Yeah. But it's the typical events or the op points. But there's some really unique stuff in there.
Yeah, it was
very, very good.
We play a lot of prototypes, and that one was so well polished and well done that it was a breath of fresh air in that way.
And I never felt, while you won the game, I never felt like I was out of it.
No, indeed, I thought I was losing for a significant portion of
well,
that
and
game.
I think had one other card been there that I had thrown away earlier, I think I would have won. But that's great,
that's
right?
The game, right?
Trying to make those decisions was fantastic. So really enjoyed that. What did we do then? Then we played...
So that, I think that afternoon we played, was that, no.
Struggle for Zorn was on Friday.
I remember that
gosh.
We have a long list of them.
Let's just say the games. We don't need to do the days, right? We played Struggle for Zorn, the Red Blight.
We played this, really fun, kind of
awesome game.
Cooperative, slightly semi-cooperative fantasy war game.
From Blue Panther by Herman Lettman. We played this with Herman, which was a joy.
We played a game of John Company. I'm just going to...
Okay, yeah. Worst insert in the history of board games, I'm going to say. Amazing second edition copy with fantastically pimped out components. The tray for the components is garbage.
It's effectively useless.
I'm almost ready to just bag it. But we played that 6-player, and the company failed.
Yeah, I think we got through 3 or 4
I've never seen the company do well. Absolutely never.
And I felt like the company was doing pretty decently, and it just
for 2 rounds
off a cliff.
Once I was no longer the chairman, the game really did not go well. And it was funny because I made a comment, and I think it pissed some people off, and that's okay. But sometimes in those games, we get into the role play mode where we're like doing the John back and forth, and it's fun, right? I'm totally okay with that. But you can't convince me to do something against my best interest unless what?
Unless you give a coin.
Put something on the table. A card, a coin, a promise. You're not going to sit here and go, I was a really good chairman. You should just elect me again. That's not going to work, right? And I had to say that. I said, guys, put up or shut up. We're wasting a bunch of time. We were having a blast. I felt like kind of an ass when I did that. But you agree?
No, but
it needed to be said.
That's how you feel about yourself, that's fine.
Well, but it needed to be said, right? Because I felt like we were just spinning in circles. And I'm like, give me a coin or shut up. Give me a card or shut up. Let's move on. So it failed miserably, terribly.
Love that game. I think I ended up with negative points in that game. It was wonderful.
I think I got 2. And that's probably one of the better times that I've done.
Best I've ever done.
Yeah, 2 or 3 points. We did our coin series teach and play. You did Andy and Abyss.
Yes, I did a live Andy and Abyss.
I just fixed that shelf for you. And I'm not bringing Fire in the Lake anymore. I keep forgetting you have your own copy. I'm not lugging mine back and forth. I taught Fire in the Lake. You taught Andy and Abyss.
Yes.
We had a blast. I had 4 brand new players. No, that's not true. A couple of them had played a couple of other coin games, but no one had played, except for one guy, he had played the bots. Sean was his name. Had a blast with it, though. I love teaching it, and I love to see people's heads hurt and not understand how to do things, but that's great. They had a blast.
Andy and Abyss was wonderful. Love playing it, and with the experience I've had on Rally the Troops, I have basically everything in that game memorized, so it's really easy for me to teach and then hopefully show. I don't have to learn.
So you're
the game
good at the
beforehand.
game. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh no, that's not true.
But yeah, we did that. That was our coin series teach and play. Later that night, we did Nations and Cannons.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
We didn't get those books down.
No.
We did Nations and Cannons, which is it's a historical supplement for the D&D 5th edition system.
Yeah.
Based in the American Revolutionary War. Very cool implementation of Dungeons and Dragons.
And I know that sounds crazy,
But it works.
But it's that D20 system.
Yep.
And you know, they just basically strip out all of the magic and they turn it into like, you know, this gambit system.
Yeah.
They work exactly like spell effects, right?
Yes.
But it's like you're giving like a rousing speech, or you're doing some trickery or some sleight of hand. If it's
Rather
more
than a
mundane,
spell. Yeah.
you're not casting a spell.
Or you're using herbs or poultices, or, you know, rather than casting a cure spell.
Yeah,
it just works.
I'm not casting like a physical illusion, but I'm gonna go cause a distraction.
Yeah.
It's the same effect.
Just
This
works
guy's
really
gonna run
well.
over there and ignore me, but
Yeah. We had a blast because we did 2 concurrent tables who were working on similar missions that ultimately came together at the end. So the last hour and a half, the tables came together. Everybody was like, "Ooh, this is really cool." One of us was on a boat. The boat's over there. A ship. I shouldn't call that a boat. It's a ship.
It's a schooner.
It's a schooner. We were on the schooner, and you guys were assaulting the fort, and we had to come support your assault. Then we ran into a kraken.
As you do.
Which, you know, has nothing to do with history, but we decided that we wanted to do that, and it just worked out very well.
Just fun, fantastical elements to games.
Everyone had a fantastic time. We played till about 11:30, and everybody was having a great... That room was hot, though.
It was.
My goodness. And you should have seen Alexander. He was just sweating, because when we came together, I didn't have to do anything. I just sat there, and he was up there prancing or dancing around. And
yeah, it was very, you know, revival preacher in a tent on a Georgia Sunday afternoon. It was very sweaty.
You were very sweaty.
But
I felt bad for you.
Last year, there's only so much you can do. Right?
Yeah.
Last year we were kind of on our own in that big old empty room.
And it was cool.
Yeah, but it also, I felt like I wasn't treading on anyone's toes.
Sure.
Whereas this time I'm like, oh man, were we really loud and
We
like,
were
irritating?
Very loud.
Because there's lots of other RPGs going on. I'm like,
the one comment I want to make about that is you brought like 2 or 3 little tentacles.
Yes.
That was going to represent the Kraken.
I had thought that I had some feasible, and I was looking, I was like,
just
oh,
didn't
I don't
have
have
it.
a Kraken miniature.
So we got to the convention center, and in the convention center, they have a comic book store.
I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
But we thought, oh, you know, what are the chances they have something that would pass? And we're like, well, probably low.
So I was thinking probably pretty good.
Pretty high.
And then we were looking, and there wasn't anything, and I was like, oh no.
But then we kind of went around the corner in the store, and bam, there it was. So this is a octopus-like creature.
Yeah, who even knows what it is?
But it had Doctor Strange in its grasp right here.
And it's like a 7-inch Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So just to give you a scale, but when we kind of pulled him
Pried him off.
And then used this because at 28mm scale, this is a
looked pretty
huge
big,
Kraken.
yeah.
It just worked out really well. So that was a great bit of fortune.
And it was
awesome.
it was a blast. Everyone had a good time. There is a written kind of summary of that event, as well as some of our others. But I had a blast with that. So glad that's now the second time we've played Nations and Canons.
Yeah.
And you better believe it, we're going to be planning more sessions next year. We've got to come up with something that's going to top that, though.
There's going to come a point where I don't know if we're going to be able to, but that was...
No, I think we still have at least one. I have a cool idea.
Okay, I want to hear it.
I
There's
was
definitely
thinking
stuff
about it.
we can do, but I also am like, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
At some point, one of the sessions is going to be a disappointment. And
Just going to be Monday.
I do not look forward to that.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so then the next day, we actually started with Here I Stand on Saturday.
Was that what we did? So, because
Yep.
we also, on Friday, we played Alpha Z,
Yes.
which was a prototype mass market Z zombie game from
Herman Lutman.
And I think Ryan's on that one too.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
that
sure.
company that he's doing that game for is called Trick or Treat Studios. They literally have done like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, and then some, I can't remember
I think
what
they did a Halloween game.
Halloween
where you, like, hid
game.
movement and
so
stuff.
horror style, but this is an alpha. It's called Alpha Zeds, and it uses the pressure luck system from In Magnificent Style. You're also playing as the Zeds, so you're attacking the city, trying to get to the center. The guy that gets to the center is going to end.
Yeah, if you get everyone in, you're more likely to win.
Very fun game, very light dice chucker with action moves. I enjoyed that. I really did. I want to get a copy of that when it ultimately comes out.
So then, yeah, on the Saturday we played. This is my copy, and this is how it arrived in the mail. So I was pretty upset about that.
Wow.
So this is Here I Stand. We played a 6-player game of this Saturday morning. I taped it up, but yeah, it was not.
That's upsetting. You need to contact them.
Sure.
That's bad, dude. Like that punched a hole all the way through it?
Yeah, it didn't damage anything inside.
Well, you need to contact them.
There's some guy on eBay. That's the problem.
I thought you tried to buy a new copy.
It is a new copy. He had a bunch that he bought. This was new and shrink. But yeah.
That's upsetting.
Here I Stand. We played a big 6-player game of that. You played as the papacy.
Yep.
I played as the Protestants.
So we were at each other's throat, which is normally how we are.
Neither of us had played one of those factions before.
I had never played the papacy before.
I think I never played the Protestants either. And what was also nice is that then I think those are the two factions that have to deal with like the religious war minigame mostly. And we had 2 new players at the table, and throwing one of them into that can be a bit rude.
Right.
Because that's a lot of rules uptake.
And it's a different game. It really is a different game than the others. They're all unique in their own factions, but the Holy War is really
It's
a mono-y-mono
mostly
thing.
us doing a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially those first couple rounds where
Yep.
I'm not a political power.
I'm not a military power either. I might have 3 or 4 units, but
Yeah. But it was wonderful. I love Here I Stand. It's amazing.
well, we did a full game in about 5.5 hours,
Yep.
which was amazing. Now we only got through 4 turns. The game ended at 4 turns.
Yeah, that end of that 4th one. But we've played a lot, and if you play from the very beginning, most games end
At 5,
at
turn 5.
turn 4 or 5.
Yep, I
Like,
agree. People will probably be screaming at us, but we've played so many times, and it's all been turn 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah, because
every one of them.
everyone gets real close, and then someone will have a good hand, or will be able to
Yep.
do that one last
end
thing
it.
that'll get it to them, and it'll have been between 2 or 3 people, but
Yeah.
someone will be able to get across that line by turn 5. Typically.
Because to win, you just need to get over 25 victory points. Earlier than that, you need to be 5 ahead.
you can't win that. You can't win a dominance victory before turn 4.
Okay.
So if you get to 25 before turn 4, good luck to you. That's just really difficult timing wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can start to win by having 5 more than everyone else during turn 4.
Okay.
I think. But yeah, so it was a really fun game. Couple new players. Everyone was dialed in though, and
I thought the
had a
new
blast.
guys really did a good job.
Yeah,
They played well, they negotiated well, they used their actions well. The French player needed to be more efficient about how they were moving units,
sure,
but he was learning too.
But yeah, he was right up there with points at the
He
end
was.
too.
He was
kind of scary.
And I won as the papacy, so I've never won that game ever.
I doff my mitre.
Yeah, and never won that game, and I don't know how I did it, but I just hit the war really hard. And
Well, you had a very
Holy War.
very bad Holy War opponent.
well, I think I just rolled really well. I mean, my debates, I won 4 out of 5 debates, and I crushed you 3 out of 4 of them.
I had 3 guys burned at the stake.
Yeah,
Which is that bad.
That's 5 victory points, right?
I think it ended up being
2 2s and a 1.
2 twos and
That
a
was
1, yeah.
5. Then
was
I had
not good.
then I had 4 from the St. Peter's Basilica.
And those are things that like you can't have taken away from you.
No.
So if you can keep 3 or 4 keys on the board as the papacy
You can
as
win.
well,
Yeah. And I got
it's hard to dislodge.
Yeah, I got a 4th key, and then they took Rome from me twice, which was funny, you know.
But it was with kind of these like sad, pathetic remnant forces
funny.
that couldn't hold up.
Well, because the Ottomans and the Habsburgs were beating each other up, he turned against me. I should have excommunicated him, but I held off because I didn't want to enrage him. Does that make sense?
If you do that, he'll definitely turn on you and send everything.
And
at
I was
you.
like, I don't want to, because I had the French guy under control.
Isn't that the best?
It is.
Isn't that the best?
It is.
That extra level of like thinking about the genuine kind of diplomacy and political thinking that was going on.
It's fantastic.
Oh, this guy's the worst, but I'm not going to do it.
Nope.
Because I don't want to.
Yep.
And that's what they would do in real life. I love it. I love this game because it does that.
Because the moment you excommunicate somebody, they just get pissed because it's a -1 card, and and they're going to come after you to punish you. And
as they should.
I decided, okay, I'm not going to do that. I also granted the divorce for Henry, right?
I've seen a lot of popes do that, and I don't know if you should.
Well, but he gave me a card when I needed the card.
Sure.
And I said to him, if you give me, I asked him, I said, what ops do you have? He said, and I don't know if that's illegal. I might have broken the law.
I think you can say.
But he
you
said,
can't
okay,
specifically give.
he said he had 2 3s and 2 2s that I would be drawing from, because you don't draw from the home cards.
No, not the home cards.
So I said, okay, I'll take one of those cards, and it better be the 3. That's what I said to him. He was like, well, I can't really. And I said, okay, I get it. So I pulled it, and it was the 3, and that's exactly what I needed to take the key I needed and then win a couple of fights and get in position to win. So it was worth it, but you're right, I shouldn't do it. But I'll never do it again.
Here I Stand is so good that we then went out.
Oh, no, there's a whole story to this, too. We went out and we ordered not custom, I'm sorry, I've blown it. We ordered just generic faction dice.
Yeah, so we're going to split these between our 2 copies of this, so there's like 15 apiece.
And you might be saying, well, what the hell is this? This is orange. Well, there's no brown.
No, I couldn't.
Which I have hard time believing.
I couldn't. No, they don't make an opaque brown that's like these. They have like a crystal one, which then that looks different.
It would have looked.
And my
stupid.
OCD would be.
I'd rather have the orange.
So yeah, that was a choice.
But then we also, as we are wont to do, I feel like we do this all the time. We're like, well, what if we got customized?
The real question is why is there not a
why doesn't GMT
deluxe
have them?
version of this like there is Twilight Struggle?
I don't get it.
I'll pay $250. I don't care. Give me
the
the custom dice for each faction. Give me a nice looking board.
Yeah.
And a nice box cover like they just did for like For the People, right? Why that exists, I do not know.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it like,
Yeah.
well, what if we just did our own?
So we found a company. Have you provided them the graphics?
No, I have to I have to make those. That's going to take some time.
But we're going to provide them the graphics
Yes.
of all 6 of the factions, and they are going to make us 20 die for each faction, 120 dice for the 6 factions. We're each going to keep 10 for our copies, and then we have a friend Mike in St. Louis.
Yes.
So we're actually going to do 3 full sets. If you want to get in on it, you probably need to let us know now.
So, yes.
And you'll have to give us the money. I'm not doing it without having the money, though.
I've put out a couple feelers, and some people are like, yeah, I would if the price is right.
Yeah,
things
if we can
like
get it down.
Because the more we can do...
We can get it down to like $40, right?
Yeah, the price can be really, really affordable.
Yeah.
We're mental. We'll pay an exorbitant amount for that on our own, just as a vanity thing.
We're just dumb.
But if you have any interest in that, or if you know someone who has interest in that, let them know. And have them contact us, theplayers8@gmail.com, and because it's going to take me some time to get the files together.
Yeah.
And our friend of the show, Ed, he also has a different manufacturer who probably can do brown, and might be able to get them even cheaper. So
Which manufacturer is Ed's?
I don't know. He didn't say, but
as long as they're not crystal.
He's an industry man.
I'm not interested in the crystal.
No. I told him they'd be opaque and they'd be 16 millimeter.
Yep, you need the brown. That would be amazing.
So yeah, if that's
how mental are we?
Very.
Yeah.
But like, also,
just thought I would say that
there's something that could be in the works for that. So
let us know if you're interested. Please email us, and then I'm just going to have to say it. If you are interested, we're probably going to ask for the money. And you're going to pay us the money and we'll hold on to it because I don't want to get hosed.
Yeah.
I don't want to have 10 sets and then all of a sudden we owe $400.
Yeah, or
so that
even more than that.
We'll figure it out, but if you're interested, contact us.
Yes.
So that was our story with Here I Stand. Fantastic. Then we played another non-historical fantasy.
Fantasy, Hex Encounter Wargame, Burning Banners, Rage of the Witch Queen.
It's so good.
Yeah. Also, this is part of their Golden Age collection.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
So it's a new series, and I do. I know everything.
I know. That's why I asked you.
So this is the first game in their Golden Age series. The second game in their Golden Age series, I already know what it is. It is the Engine Thieves from...
Wes Crawford.
Wes Crawford. So what they are doing is they're trying to do games that are calling back to yesteryear. So this game is something like Divine Right. I think Engine Thieves is something like the... what's the name of the game? The American Civil War solo game that we got from our father-in-law.
Is that Mosby's Raiders?
Yes, so it's kind of a throwback to that because it uses A little different system, but it's a similar concept. So that is what they're trying to create with this series.
I saw that on here and was like,
yeah.
Okay.
First game in a new series, and my guess is they'll have another one of these.
But it's more of a loose series.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what their
It's more like a
plans.
line of games.
Yes.
I think that's...
Yeah.
But so yeah, Burning Banners is a hex encounter fantasy war game designed by Chris Moeller.
An excellent hex encounter fantasy war game.
So Chris Moeller, if you don't know, he is, I think, an illustrator at heart, right? He designs some good war games as well and has made some games, but he did all the artwork, all by hand.
And it's beautiful.
And the map is incredible, the pieces are incredible, all the artwork
Have you opened it
on the
yet?
box. No, this is fresh. So we played Grant's copy.
No, we didn't play my copy.
You took your
took
copy.
my copy.
We ended up playing a friend of ours' copy, and I loved it so much I was, on the way home, I was hitting Noble Knight Games to buy a copy.
So I wanted to show you, this is just one of, I think there are 3 of these, or 4 of these.
3 or 4, yeah.
Look at the detail and the beauty on that board. It's phenomenal. And there are 4 big boards like this. They all can fit together. They all work well.
I would say, in the wargaming world especially, but probably in the wider board gaming world, it's unparalleled how nice the boards are.
This is a beautiful game.
And the game itself, we played a 4-player game of it, and it's a team game, the one that we did, which was really neat. And we don't play a lot of team games. That was fun. And it was, you know, the 6 factions included are all wildly different in what they do and how they set up and the different
abilities they
monsters and leaders and heroes that they have. It was really, 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 really enjoyable. The rule book and the play aid, there's some little bumps in it. But
it needs some refinement.
part of that was I wanted to buy a copy so I could really sit and pour through the rules and get that down myself and kind of iron some of that stuff out. But the game itself and what we were doing, really, really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I had a blast with it. And, you know, we talk about Divine Right. I've never played it. But this, and kind of Zorn as well, remind me of Wizard Kings, where you have a bunch of little guys moving around doing war game stuff, but you also have the real powerful spellcasters. And when those guys go off, and I love that in a fantasy war game. I just think that that's enjoyable. It's fun to do.
And I will say this, and you mentioned that, but the factions are so asymmetric.
Oh, gosh, yes.
I played the orcs. Orcs can control stuff like towns, but they can't really hold them very long.
Yes. They're not the best administrators.
They end up ultimately burning and taking all the gold out of them because their ability is they can't really hold them.
Yeah, they have to pay to upkeep them and
So
they can't afford it.
It's a matter of, I had to work with you. We couldn't figure it out because we just played 2 different games. But I'm telling you, I had a blast with that one.
Yeah.
It was a first play. We had a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors. We learned a lot, but it was fun.
What I was doing was really enjoyable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Phenomenal game.
Really, 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 really like that. That was everything we played.
I think that was the last game that we played.
Yeah.
So that was everything in April that we played.
Yes.
A very eventful month.
And you know, that was May.
Yeah, that
as
was
well,
May,
right?
sorry.
So, I think upcoming in May as well, for the rest of May, I think we've got a couple games that we're going
We
to
didn't
do.
talk about the Plum Island Horror either.
Oh.
Yeah, we played that.
We played the Plum Island
Let's
Horror.
just do this one quick.
Sure. Plum Island Horror, cooperative.
GMT games.
GMT zombie game. There's a review of this on the channel.
It was also awesome. We played it with Herman.
Fun zombie
game. It was amazing.
Right?
Yep.
So yeah, coming up in May, we have for our Shelf of Shame dust-off, Brazen Chariots.
Yep.
We missed the one in April. That was, you know, just didn't happen. But this one's definitely happening. I'm very excited to set this up.
So this is BCS North Africa.
Yeah, we have the nice Cube for Me trays set in here, which is invaluable.
And the counter sleds.
And also, these are the counter sleds. I think we've talked about these in a couple of videos, but basically there is a counter sled for every formation in here. and you're going to put on here any additional artillery assets, what its fatigue
Exhaustion
levels,
fatigue markers.
any support units, if it's in prepared defense or not. And what that does is these are tiny little cards, and they kind of go off in the peripheries a little bit, so that the stacks aren't quite so big and unwieldy.
Yeah.
Which anything that can do that in a game this size, I think, is very helpful. Those, oh gosh, they're from like a card printing website, which I cannot remember the name of.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I will. Someone will ask in the comments, and I'll put it in there.
But we bought them for every BCS game that we have.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that one a lot. I think we're also, I know we talked about this last month, but we're going to do it this one. We have a plan to do so.
So you got a cube for me.
Yes.
Is it in there?
Yes.
Can you open it up? And
Yes, so this is Battles of Napoleon, Eylau 1807 from Sound of Drums. And again, Cube for me were gracious enough to send us their wargaming set. So all the cubes go into these kind of little, component holders that they have. And then in here, we have...
gorgeous. And their counters were all pre-rounded.
Yep, they were
have to do
really
any
easy to
clipping.
punch and clip. So all the administrative counters are in here, from fatigue level to
Looks like
step
candy.
losses.
Look at that.
Those are all the Frenches, and then we have the Ruskies on the other side. Well, I don't know if they're Ruskies, but
Some of them got to be.
we'll call them Alliance members.
Yeah.
Those are all in there as well, and it all fits in the box, which is pretty nice as well.
Very much looking forward to that.
But yeah,
We've been jonesing to play that one for a while.
and we've got the Sound of Drums gave us the mounted map boards and the custom dice for this as well.
Are the mounted map boards over there?
They're stacked up right
Oh,
there,
yeah, I see
that's
them.
there.
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
also, like, they don't fit in the box.
Oh, no, there's no
So
doubt.
you got,
Yeah, you
which it's a
gotta-
big old box already anyway.
Yeah. But, so the other game that we've just chosen, because we have 3 Fridays this month.
Yes.
We're going to play Beware the Ides of March. Or is it called the Ides of March?
I think it's called the
Beware-
Ides of March.
Yeah, it's Beware the Ides of... I don't remember. From Hollandspiel.
That's the phrase, though.
By Mr. Thiessen. Hex Encounter war game, has a lot of unique elements. It'll play in about 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to play that one. Those are the 3 games we're going to try this month.
One other game that we are in the process of getting off the ground is we're playing kind of an asynchronous weekly
Play by
submittal,
email, right?
Yeah, play by email game of Machiavelli from Avalon Hill. There was a friend of the show and one of our patrons was like, "Hey, I'd love to organize this. I've never played it before. It's a diplomacy style game set in Renaissance Italy." And
But it definitely has armies and units, right?
oh well, that's diplomacy is armies and
Yeah,
units.
yeah, yeah.
But what's not to like, right? So we've finally got 8 people together. We're just Ed's doing a couple
Trying to work
last
through it.
teaches of going through the rules with the players, and then hopefully we can get that off the ground this month
Yeah.
and kind of dive on in, which I'm very excited for as well.
I've got some solo games lined up. I'm going to run through these really quickly because I
Yeah.
know we've... So, a new arrival is Comet from Hollandspiel. And this game, the subtitle is Allied Airmen Rescue in World War II. This is not a traditional war game. This is designed by Brad Smith of NATO Commander and That Others May Live fame. But it is a solo game based on the Comet line, where downed Allied airmen were smuggled from Belgium down to Gibraltar by a line of volunteers, mostly women, which I think is fascinating, but this is a great looking game. I'm very much looking forward to playing it. A solo game. Romanitas, and this is in Ve Victus magazine. This is a hex encounter war game on the Eastern Roman Empire in 528 to 628 AD. Beautiful counters, all clipped and ready to go,
A lovely French publication we'll never be able to read.
which I downloaded the English rules from the website, but I won't be able to read the magazine. But I'm going to try to play that this month. Who doesn't love a hex encounter war game, solitaire war game? This one is brand new from White Dog Games, Solitaire General Napoleon at Waterloo. This we bought this at Buckeye Game Fest.
Yes. It looks awesome.
It does
Great
look
looking
awesome.
map in here too.
By Dave Kershaw, who did the Moog, Irish Freedom. This game looks amazing. The counters look great. Very much looking forward to that. And then finally, I actually started playing this week. I've played 2 games already. Manila, The Savage Streets 1945 from Revolution Games. A fantastic solitaire system. Mike Ranella. This is the follow-up to the Stalingrad.
And it's a solitaire iteration of that kind of area impulse, area move style game.
Solitaire Area Movement Series, Volume 2. He's working on a Fall of Berlin game.
I'm currently playing Tally Ho from Historic Wings. This is one of those book games, but at Buckeye Game Fest I bought the premium components that are printed by Blue Panther.
They're very nice.
I didn't have to kind of do the arts and crafts of cutting these out, and I did that because there's also a good amount of different play aids and stuff, and I wanted to be able to like hold the rules and make sure I was reading them and then have the stuff on the board without totally carving it up. I've played 2 missions of this so far. It's very, very fun, very difficult as well.
Okay, which is what you want.
Yeah, I also have SOE Lysander, which is from the same company, but it's a very different style game.
So this is the French Resistance, right?
Yeah, so this is... SOE is, gosh, it's
I can't remember what it is.
It's a special operations, executive? Either way, so this is like going and doing like night drops of supplies to French resistance cells, gaining intel, all that kind of stuff, and bits and pieces like that. But you're flying a freaking Lysander, right? It's these tiny little stub fighter or planes that, you'd have modified Bren guns and torches. They'd like 5 resistance people in a field, turn them on for like 30 seconds at night, and he had to land in a field blind, basically.
Yeah.
Incredible heroism, but playing a little game on that, I'm very excited to kind of dive on into
So this is by Historic Wings.
Yes.
Thomas Van
Hari? I don't know how he pronounces his last name. Okay. Thomas Van Hare, maybe?
But yeah, they look really good. We bought the Cold War one. What's it called? I can't remember. It's not called U2, but it is a U2 plane that you're flying around.
Okay. But like...
Overflight?
I think one of... something like that. But I think one of the things that really... Because I've had this for probably 2 months.
Yeah.
And then we picked a couple extra ones up at Buckeye Game Fest, and I did that because... I felt like there wasn't a ton of information you can see on the Amazon webpage of like what the game looks like and stuff. And when I was there, we were able to kind of leaf through the components. And like, so this is like almost one of those Greg Smith style looking games.
Sure.
It's got a lot of different stuff to it, but that's what the cards and map looks like.
So narrative driven style, but laid out like a lot of his stuff.
Whereas this one, hex and counter.
Okay.
And I was like, and then the one that you have is point-to-point movement stuff. So
very different.
I was very happily surprised that they're all mechanically so different.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's not just rehashing these. These are all different games, and that was a huge positive. That I'm like, oh, I would definitely want to dive more into that. So that was really exciting. So I think
we have a busy month.
Yeah, right.
And the reality is this month is the Indianapolis 500, and at work I'm going to be crazily busy. But it's okay. We can do it.
Well,
we can do it.
And then
I'll just be exhausted in June.
They just released Plantagenet on Rally the Troops.
Yeah.
So I
haven't played a game yet.
I've like started the setup for like 6 games.
Got it.
So I need to actually read the rules, which I'll have time to this coming week. And
you have that game? No, I haven't.
No, you have it. Yeah, but it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It really looks awesome. So I think that's everything that we've got going on in May.
Wow, we're like an hour into the video.
You know what? Good for us.
Yeah.
Anything going on Kickstarter at the moment?
There's a bunch. I just did my Wargame Watch if you're interested, but definitely we already talked about Dutch Resistance, Orange Shall Overcome.
And I think Divine Right just finished.
It did just finish. Sorry. Talk about something else while
we're
just
I'll
waiting.
talk about something that I had delivered on Kickstarter, and I'm curious to see if anyone else here did. So this is Mothership 1.0, I believe it is. This is a deluxe version. This is a sci-fi RPG that looked really interesting about 2.5 years ago when I backed it.
Yeah, with a name like Mothership.
Well, and it looked awesome. It's this kind of like retro feel and look to it, and they had a ton of cool stuff in it.
Well, another bug hunt. They've kind of kifed that off of Aliens. But that's cool.
I mean,
who cares?
That's the Alien module to it.
Got it.
And I have like a solo module for this as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it finally delivered after an unconscionably long time.
Beautiful package.
So yeah, it looks nice. I'll one day unshrink it, and who knows, I might even play it. It's an RPG, so it's very unlikely.
Hannibal and Hamilcar from Phalanx will be coming to GameFound on May 14th.
And that's their second printing
of their new edition.
Of their 4th or 5th edition.
And it has a lot of extra stuff, so check it out. Crisis in Korea from Catastrophe Games is finishing up on Kickstarter. That is 2 small games designed by Sebastian Bay that deal with the North Korean peninsula. Loose Nukes and KTO Crisis. They look very, very good. The other one we already mentioned was Dutch Resistance.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the Kickstarters that I know of this month. Now, there's some other ones. There's a Conan game, which I did back, by the way. I didn't tell you that.
I'm not surprised. That's fine.
Well, I love Conan.
Yeah.
Conan's one of my favorite properties.
I backed that Thunder Road Vendetta a couple.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So that should be here by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
So anyway, that's all that I know about on Kickstarter.
So yeah, I think there's probably a billion more coming the rest of the year. I think we know a lot of stuff that's coming, but you'll hear the announcements if and when. And I think now is an appropriate time for an official word from our sponsor, Noble Knight Games. So very grateful for Noble Knight's sponsorship of our channel. They keep us going and keep the lights on, which is awesome. And they also provide a really valuable service for our industry.
Yep.
I bought burning banners from them.
Sure.
We got a new counter clipper from them.
Yep.
We bought some fancy Dutch dice for Orange Shell Overcome.
Yeah, we can't help ourselves. We're idiots.
And then when the time comes, we drive up there and give them a bunch of the stuff back that we've just borrowed from them, it feels like.
Yeah. That's very true. But a very good company.
Yeah, love that. So on to the kind of main topic of today's debrief. And this was one that was suggested by one of our patrons, Bill Simone. If you want to get in on that action, our patrons have access to suggest topics for these, and we typically pick one unless something else crazy is going on. And this month, one comes from Bill, and we wanted to talk about games that we play when it's just kind of time for fun. When we're not doing war game stuff.
War games are fun.
Yeah.
But when we're not doing war games for content or other stuff, what do we like to play?
Yeah,
right.
If it's just like, we're not doing war games tonight, we're just doing for fun stuff, what does that look like here at the Player's Aid? Because, and I'll be honest, there's a lot. You have a ton of stuff at your house as well.
Oh, yeah.
That we could go on for forever.
For hours.
With doing just that stuff.
Yeah. We like games.
Yes.
Now, I will say, a majority of the games that we have chosen here tonight and that we do play, a lot of them involve historical connections.
Sure.
A lot of them are cooperative, semi-cooperative. A lot of them have a great deal of player interaction, things like negotiation, alliances, lying, deceiving, backstabbing.
And combat is almost always part of it in some way.
Always involved in those. So they're war games, they're just different type of war games. And it's funny, when we get together with our gaming group, our old gaming group, many of them are combat averse.
Yes.
They don't want to be rolling dice and coming over and attacking you.
No.
We love it.
Yes.
That's what I live for.
There's no hard feelings.
Because it's a game,
Agreed.
right? We've destroyed each other so many times, I don't even care anymore.
No.
Right? But those are the kind of games that we like to play. And we will also play historical games. There's a couple on this list that I'm going to pull out that they are games that we've reviewed on the channel. We've played many, many times. They are definitely historical games or war games. And I would play those at a drop of a hat at any single time. So...
yeah, so I don't think there's going to be any rhyme or reason to the following.
We're just going to have to grab and go.
Because we brought out way too many that it's probably unreasonable.
This brought to you by Mountain Dew.
Specifically from get-go. So first up we got Root, right?
Yeah, I love Root.
Half people think this is a war game or a coin game out there anyway, and they're not wrong about that either.
It's an asymmetric game that uses different factions. That to me is where people say the coin.
And there's a conflict element to it.
Yep.
There's some of the factions are more subversive than others. Some are more overtly powerful. Really, really enjoyable. there's a 10,000 expansions and like all sorts of other stuff with this that I don't have. But it's really, really fun.
And this was designed by Cole Worley.
Yes.
One of our favorite designers and a really good chap. He's just a great designer.
When he designs games kind of on that periphery, right?
Yes.
So like this is a pretty heavy war game. He'll design something like John Company, which
we
the
played earlier.
second edition, right? Which it's not a war game, but there's military elements to it. And it's that really, really rich historical theme. He did, what's the...
Oath?
No. Pax Pamir second edition, right?
Yes.
That is a war game.
Yeah.
So like he's doing a lot. He does things like Oath and Arcs and all that other stuff as well. But
we love Root. I would play Root at any time.
just fun game.
Yep.
Next up, we have Reichbusters. This is one of the few massive boxes that I have. Reichbusters.
One of the few. I see one right there, Jake GKR. I see one right there.
I mean, for this game specifically.
Oh yeah, there's two of them.
There's a ton
sorry.
more on the shelf.
I misunderstood.
No.
A couple of years ago at Gen Con, we literally bought everything that they had.
Yes.
Everything.
Which is a perfect time to get it, because Mythic Games has a pretty bad reputation for having terrible first edition rules.
Sure.
And so they had all the errata by that point and all of the fixed tokens. So we got all of that and it was great. I don't,
Such a fun game.
I don't have all of that misery that some people went through on the Kickstarter. We just picked it all up at Gen Con, and we've played it a few times.
We paid a little more, but it's worth. How many times have we played this?
A bunch.
4 or 5 times.
We even played it with my son.
We played it with your son, and that was a fun day.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It's miniatures, it's dungeon crawling, it's
scenario based, where you're controlling military characters fighting these Nazi zombies.
And it's just like cartoonishly
it's
Wolfenstein. And it's just run and gun or stealthing around.
I would
really,
play
really,
this
really fun.
at the drop of a hat.
It takes a lot of space on the table.
It does, but it's
Big
amazing.
game.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and so I start getting some of the ones over here. Now, we've talked about a couple of Herman Lettman games tonight.
Let's get out Plum Island Horror, because
Okay,
that slides
sure.
into this too, right?
Yeah. Dawn of the Zeds 3rd edition. This is a game that one of our first review copies came from Victory Point Games.
Agreed.
Alan
Emmerich sent this over.
reached out. He sent this over. We have played this game dozen times,
bunch,
15
yeah.
times. Every single time we play it, we add the next elements in. So the game becomes more involved, more in-depth, longer,
More difficult.
more complex, more difficult, but even more fun.
And it's a great way to do that.
Yeah.
So you're just like ramping up and adding extra bits so that, because if you were to dive into this with all of that stuff,
Oh, you'd overwhelm yourself.
it would be not.
But this is a States of Siege series game.
Yes.
It's just zombies, right?
Yes.
By Herman. I love this game so much. I don't even know how I can explain how much I love it.
It's just like a classic.
Yes.
Right.
We'll play that at any time and have at multiple times
Yes.
over the years. I think the last time we played it was about a year ago, and we went till like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. We started this after we'd played
Like a big war game.
some of the big war game.
And then
What was that?
I don't remember. But we started that like at 10:30 and finished like at 1:30.
It was great.
And it was amazing. But Plum Island Horror is another game along that lines. We played this for the first time at Buckeye Game Fest. We're going to try to play it some more, but it's a similar
mechanically
style.
very different, but it's that fully co-op,
Yep.
Similar vein, similar time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's an amazing game. I would play it at any time.
Agreed.
I don't know that I need to say that anymore. Another game, I'll let you talk about this one, but we met the designer of this game. I met the designer of this game.
I don't think I did, yeah.
At Buckeye Game Fest.
Oh, you did.
Herman Lettman brought him up and introduced him to us.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So, Arkham Horror,
to
this
think
is
of what his name
this is 3rd edition. I used to have the 2nd edition. I played the hell out of that as well. But this edition is better. Honestly, it's more playable. It's more manageable. This is also a cooperative game.
No.
Richard Lanius.
That's who I met.
Yes, he
didn't do this one.
No, but
he's
he
done
did
the
all
system.
the
Yes,
previous
yes.
ones and a lot of the other stuff as well. So
Met him, very cool guy.
yeah, this is a wonderful game. It's a little bit pandemic, this version, and the card decks focus where the enemies happen, and I actually really like that. It's a great thematic part of it. The theme is the important part of this game.
It's
to me,
Cthulhu.
You're going around doing some actions, fighting some unfightable horrors, but it's the card text, the little stories, the little vignettes of where you're going.
Yeah.
Really fun, but it also doesn't take 8 hours like second edition did, which was kind of a drag.
But I love this game. I'll play this at any time.
Yeah.
And we've played that multiple times. The next one, I'll go ahead and
We will
pull.
not be holding this up because there's lots of very delicate miniatures in here.
Well, we can hold the box up,
So yeah, this is Aeronautica Imperialis from Games Workshop.
This is an Orcs.
No, that's Humans.
Oh, that's Humans. Where's the Orcs? There we
these
go.
ones where it's just a rocket with some wings, baby.
Just amazing.
But yeah, there's miniatures, there's standees. Yours will not come painted. I spent a lot of time on these.
So we played this the first couple of weeks after the pandemic broke up.
Yeah.
I came over. You had been painting this for months. We played the hell out of it that one day.
So much during that time.
Games like this are just fun.
Yeah, this one comes with a hex board, and the bases are hexes, and you have speed and altitude on them, and you're maneuvering around using your maneuvers, and it's just trying to set off your weapons, shoot each other to death, and blow each other out of the sky, and it is not more complicated than that.
Aeronautica Imperialis. So good. I just love that game. So have you seen a theme, right? Kind of pulpy, interactive, some combat, cooperative in many ways.
Dead of Winter is so good, and at the time when it came out, it was also a little bit revolutionary with that Crossroads deck.
Yep.
The Crossroads deck was the best part of this game, I think. Yeah, it's nice co-op, fighting the zombies and doing the stuff, but the Crossroads cards, the person next to you reads a story to you, and there are blind choices, and you have to make either like a character choice or a moral choice, and then some stuff happens as a result.
And more often than not, they're not good, right? It's like lesser degrees of bad.
Yeah, and in this one, like, I really appreciated that they actually have like a separate kind of, there's a little icon on some of the ones that are more adult themed. So if you want to play it with your family and the kids, you can do that, just take those ones out. And it's more like, we found one where like, one of the guys has been stealing a bunch of like medicine and injecting it all, and like he's a junkie, and you find him in a pile of trash. Like, do you kick him out of the colony and he's gonna die or not? You don't have to face that moral quandary with kids because there's a little icon, you can take those out.
So good.
Love this game.
Amazing.
This is part of the reason that I really liked Orange Shell Overcome, is those halt cards function
Very
the same
similar.
way, but only when you go through the types of guards, and you can kind of say, all right, this is a policeman, it's less bad than it is going this direction, which has the soldier in it, but they function the same way, and it equally is awful.
That's the only part about Dutch Resistance that I didn't like. I wanted to do more of those halt cards, but I don't want to go through the police officers or the soldiers because there's bad stuff.
Yeah,
but those halt cards are so good.
They're so good, but you're
want to
trying
avoid
them, really.
So it was funny, in our 4-player game at Buckeye Game Fest, I only think we did like
We did two.
one or two. So that's what you want to do. You want to try to avoid them, but they're so cool.
And that's the more difficult the game is, the more of those you'll face, because there's just more police out. You can't avoid them.
All right, I'll pull this one up, and then we can start getting some of the ones over there.
Can we move these out of the way? They're like taking up off the screen.
I'm so sorry.
We just have a lot. So now we have a game called Cyclades, or however in the hell you want to pronounce it.
Cyclades, whatever.
This is from Matagot, or Matago, also depending on how you want to pronounce that.
When you're a hick from the sticks, you say Matagot.
Yeah, I genuinely have no
Cyclades.
idea how to pronounce any of these things. I think it's a French company.
It is a French company, I believe.
And
they make damn fine games.
They deserve to be mispronounced.
Kemet is a great game in this line. Cyclades is and then Innis. Innis.
Yeah, I played that one time. Really good.
And then I have their newest one called Galactic Renaissance. It is in the same line of games.
Okay.
I have it off of Kickstarter. That's one that I backed, and I just forgot about it.
What was that other? Didn't they do that other game that you played with Brum? The one in the black box?
Yes, Yucatan.
That one.
Yucatan.
Was that?
Yucatan.
was that good too?
That game's amazing. And I have a copy. Brum has a copy. We played Brum's copy.
So we just have this one because it's the one that I have on the shelf here. I really like this one because of the bidding mechanic in it as well.
Yeah, this one has that bidding mechanic is so good.
So sweet.
They all have their own shtick, right? Yeah. Kemet, the combat is very, very cool.
And it's a race for those tiles.
Oh, it's so good. And then Yucatan had a little bit of both. You did bid some. It was really good. I don't know about Ennis. I don't know.
Ennis is really big with terrain.
Okay.
The board's massive, but you're revealing tiles, so it's a
As
bit
you
more
move
of
out.
and then they're all different stuff on them and different abilities you can proc, and it's really fun.
But this one's got a lot of combat in it. Kemet, a lot of combat in it.
They all do.
Yucatan, a lot of combat in it.
Just like it's
about combat.
Dudes on a map.
Yep, area control.
Fun, chuck some dice, special abilities.
We didn't get them out, but the Eric Lang line of games, starting with Blood Rage, then
Rising Sun,
and then Ankh. Those are also along that same line. Area control, big games. We have all of those and really enjoy those as well.
Those are really good.
And I would play those at any given time.
And especially Blood Rage, something like that. You can play that with newer players, right?
It's a little simpler, I think.
Yeah, it's
not simple, but it's simpler.
It's a step up from like Monopoly, but it's because there's a bit.
I would never compare that to Monopoly. Why did you? I mean, Monopoly is a mindless roll and move.
Yeah, but that's
not what this is. But it's simpler.
But that's one game that might be the only game a lot of people have played.
Okay,
and
sure.
So I played Blood Rage thinking, oh, this is really easy for everyone, and there was a couple people at that table who this was still their first board game, pretty much. And that was still, I'm like, oh, that was a lot for that.
A little more complex.
They got it in the end, but
it's not.
You can introduce them to people, no big deal, and they don't take a really long time like some of these other games might do.
Yeah. Let's do this one, and then we can do all the ones on your side.
Yeah, I got some.
And then I've got a couple more to do ultimately. This, I would say, is our biggest guilty pleasure.
I was no guilty about it.
I would say that I would play this every day for the rest of my life if I had the opportunity.
It's so good.
I love the Aliens franchise, and this has them all, right? We even have the decks now that have added in Prometheus and
Covenant. And then we also have the expansion that is just made up.
Sure. But it's the Legendary Encounter system or line where you have a deck. It's a deck building game. You're trying to do different tasks and missions to succeed, fighting off the aliens as they keep coming in, and it's incredibly difficult.
Crushingly difficult.
We have won this game one time, I believe, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I thought everything went right, and we actually won it. But every other game, we've been generally destroyed.
We also won it one time with Gary.
Yeah, so we've won it twice.
And we were talking about how difficult it was.
And he was like, that was easy.
He's a newbie. I was like, look, yes.
Yeah,
that is what happened. Thanks.
Yeah. But I love this game. Ironically, I don't like the other games in the system as much.
Yeah, I have the Predator one, and it doesn't hit the same.
No. I think it's the theme on this one that really gets me.
I also
just love it.
I also think the mechanics are a bit clearer. The Predator one, it's I'm trying to do some bits and pieces and stuff that's some weird special powers, but they're also. And this one's it's my characters and I'm fighting dudes.
Sure.
And
amazing.
The Marvel
love
ones. Yeah. Okay. I have here just a little expansions for Dune War for Arrakis. I did not want to get all of my stuff off the shelves.
We've played that one 4 times now?
Yes.
We played 3 2-player times.
And
3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then we played it 4-player.
Which
I love this game.
Yeah, it's really, really good game. Fun. It's much quicker to play than War of the Ring and also the Battle of Five Armies. Our Battle of Five Armies was short because I wasn't very good at it.
I got lucky.
But War of the Ring takes all day, pretty much. Dune takes 3 hours.
Yep.
And it really is that tight on a knife edge.
It is a quick game.
Harkonnen's going to kind of win it.
Yep.
Or the Atreides will have done just enough to kind of eke it out just at the time the Harkonnen would be winning it.
Yep.
So it's a really tight game. It's a really fun game. It's enjoyable. It's very pacey. And then it's done. It's really, really, really solid.
The Spacing Guild you want to play with every time, no doubt. I can take or leave the Smugglers expansion. Not my favorite.
It was definitely interesting. But the base game, even on its own,
It's good enough.
Would be totally fine if that's all you have.
But I love those kind of games. Like you said, War of the Ring, Battle of Five Armies.
Yeah, you have those. We played those.
Yeah, those are all great games.
Next up, we have good old-fashioned Frosthaven.
And Gloomhaven.
We're lumping in Gloomhaven, Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, Gloomhaven Digital. It's all. If you, this is a game and a system that I will hear no criticism on. If you have criticism for this system, go and take it somewhere else. I don't care.
I would like to talk to you because I want to understand what you don't like about it. Because everything about it is I love.
I'll pay for your medical help if there's something wrong.
I'll buy your copy from you.
It's a stunning system. It is a bit kitchen sink. There's everything in it. But it works together so well, and the card system is
so very good.
So fun. The characters are so varied. The monsters are varied.
Yep. And ultimately, it boils down to this is a tactical game.
This is a tactical
It is about moving miniatures and around monsters, taking them out to get objectives. It is so good.
And
everything we love about games is in
If
here.
you were to guesstimate how many times we've played all of this all combined.
Well, we have played Gloomhaven probably 150 times because we played the online.
I think it's
200
close to
times.
double that.
Yeah, 300 times. This one we've probably played 40 times.
This one...
45?
Yeah, I think we're at 40 with this one. Well, we failed some, so probably 45, yeah.
And it's got another 80 missions that we could play.
In the campaign that we're in, yes.
And we've slowed down with it. Our father-in-law has gotten much busier, even though he's retired, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
We just don't do as much, which I'm sad about.
But yeah, those are games and systems that... Well, they release them, I'll buy them and play.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Not even a question.
Give it 2 more years, they'll have another one coming out.
Next up, this is a game that is often on the shelf that you see behind us.
Usually sits right here.
But we rarely get it down because it's very big and awkwardly shaped.
It's a good game.
So this is GKR Heavy Hitters. GKR stands for Giant Killer Robots. What's not to like about Giant Killer Robots, you ask? The answer to that question? Nothing.
Nothing.
It is literally miniatures of giant robots that are pre-painted, that are this big, and you march around on this hex board.
Shoot each other.
You shoot each other to hell. You have some support units. You have buildings that you're trying to put your tags on so that you get corporate sponsorships.
Yeah, which is so good.
And you get the ratings. It's wonderful. It's made by made by Weta Workshops. They're the prop company for all of the films that you like. They decided to make a board game, and it's frickin' awesome.
Well, I wanted to show you one of the miniatures. Let's just grab the orange one.
And they're all different, and they all have different decks of cards and different abilities.
I mean, look at that.
Come on. Come on.
And this literally, you move it around the board.
You turn it,
and you shoot stuff.
And you have, it's got its big laser cannon, it has some rockets shooting out the back, it's got all sorts of stuff going on.
Does it go on?
There we go. And then you've got your little support mechs as well. I mean, it's just
so good.
Custom dice.
Yep.
I bought the deck of foil special units and people like an idiot. It's the most bombastic game.
It's good.
And it's so fun.
We played this with our father and brother-in-law, and
I'm
always
also
have a good time.
Very bad at this game.
I don't know that I'm good, but it's fun.
I have never come close to winning.
I actually think I've won, but it's fun.
I think the last one that I have here...
And then I've got 2 war games that I'm going to...
is Mare Nostrum Empires from Academy Games.
This one's so good.
This is a winner.
Yeah, in every way.
There is a lot of these kind of dudes on a map, civ building, area control, almost semi-Euro style games that are in this kind of ancient Mediterranean era. There's a lot of them. This is my favorite, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's very good.
I don't know if it's the best. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's really tight, and it has a timer mechanic in it as well.
Yep.
So the game doesn't overstay its welcome.
2 hours, 2.5 hours normally.
Yes. It says 90 minutes on the box. It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
But you're trading resources. You're going to war. You're expanding your empire. Gosh, this was one of the first Kickstarters I ever did. Because a friend of mine had said he liked the original that this was based on. And I was like, I just took a punt on it. I was like, sure, why not? Yep. Plastic
Academy Games
buildings. Yeah, and it's one of their finest designs as well. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah. I would play that at any time.
Yes.
Okay, so I have 2 war games here, and you may be arguing that these aren't war games, but I don't care. I don't know how to.
This one's definitely a war game.
This one's definitely a war game.
This one has a war going on.
It's a war theme in it, and there's some war in it. But 2 of our first games that we ever played from GMT. Oh, I didn't know you had a.
Yeah, I didn't know I did either until I opened it up. We
have
haven't
one
played
in
it
here?
since I got one. No, that one is too.
It's a
There's no
disaster.
point.
So anyway, Labyrinth, the War on Terror, designed by Volko Rumke. This is from GMT, and then you have Churchill from Mark Herman.
Yes. That's what I wanted to do.
Both very different games.
I have my rulebook signed by Mark Herman.
You
like
do?
A nerd.
I have several of his signed by Mark, signed as well. These 2 games, I think, were 2 of the first games that we ever played
Yes.
from GMT. Absolutely love them. I remember I didn't like Churchill the first time we played it.
It was very esoteric the first time you played it.
And
It
I
was like,
remember
what is
thinking,
happening?
I remember sitting there because it was at my table. And I remember saying, okay, Grant, you're friends with Alexander. You can make it through this.
just
And then about
ease
three,
him.
about 3/4 of the way through, I saw it. And I was like, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this was because back in the day, I mean, this was what 3 or 4 war games in. It was like these.
Yeah.
These were maybe like.
So
3
this
or
would have
4.
been 25-15 that
Yeah.
we bought these 2.
And we played Twilight Struggle,
Loved it.
and I think we'd played Wilderness War.
Yep, and loved it as well. And Combat Commander.
and Combat Commander.
And then we started with
And then we got this one, and Empire of the Sun. Those
Yep.
were like those first 6. I don't exactly remember, but I remember reading about Churchill brand new. I got this new when it first came out, and it was to this day, it's the only banner ad on Board Game Geek I've ever clicked on and bought.
Okay.
Because I was like, well, what the hell is it?
Sure.
Churchill, Big Three Struggle for Peace. And I remember reading the descriptions of it, and it was like this card game where you're negotiating
Yep.
with the cards. And I was like, that's so interesting. And then you play out the stuff on the board. But yeah, reading these rules and us trying to figure it out was pretty
It was
painful.
And I remember it took us all day, too. I think
was
we were together for like 7 hours.
But the descriptions that I'd read and the people talking about it who play tested it, the way that they were talking about it was like, okay, we have to get to that point.
Yeah, and we did.
And yeah, eventually it was like, oh yeah, and this is, I'll play this any day.
I think we've played this close to 10 times. We've played it with other people.
Yeah.
In fact, we played this at Buckeye Game Fest.
We played it twice.
3
at
years
Buckeye Game
ago.
Fest, yeah.
Then 2 years ago, we played it at Buckeye Game Fest. So we've done it and enjoyed it.
This also has a nice cube for me set as well, so you get all the nice pieces in here. Sure, it's a counter tray, but you also get all the cards and the dice in these little component boxes, which just make a big difference. It just makes it nice inside as well.
Now,
Love Churchill.
Labyrinth, I don't know that I can say enough good things about Labyrinth. This is one of my top 5 games of all time, no doubt. I love it. I realize it's not for everybody, right? It's the global war on terror.
Yeah, thematically, I don't think it's for everyone.
Right. And one side's playing the jihadists. So you are literally the one trying to destroy Western civilization. The other player is as the U.S. trying to save Western civilization. The way this game works together, complete asymmetry in the factions, complete asymmetry in the types of cards and actions they want to do and try to do, but it blends together so seamlessly to create a dog-eat-dog fight for control of the world, right?
And more than any other game that we have played and that I have played, this is a player-driven game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing as the jihadists, you are the mouse. You are running around trying to do your stuff, and you set the pace for the game.
Yeah.
And the US player is the cat who has to catch the mouse. If the mouse does not run, they will catch the mouse, right?
Yeah.
So it is a very proactive game from that standpoint, and that can be intimidating for a lot of players, or they might just like not be good at it, and then it just kind of falls flat. But I loved from the off this game because it was, I determined the pace of this game.
Yeah.
And that is so freeing in a lot of other games that are restricted by historical settings where it's like, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Whereas this kind of like starts and then it's like, here's the question mark, you do it.
Yeah.
And it's a game of options and you got to go out and do it, which there's nothing quite like it.
But I love this game. We've played it. We probably played this one 15 times, 20 times.
And then the expansions on
Yep.
top of it as well.
And I would play it again today if you wanted to throw it down. So
Yes. Yeah, these are games that, yeah, they're like what we do here at the Players Aid, but it's also, you know, if the
I love
Players Aid
them.
went away, these would
Yeah.
would be on the table again and again and again and again. And again.
along with Here I Stand, along with, you know, those kind of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love these games.
So yeah, and again, like we said, there's a trillion other games that we have liked and played and enjoyed. There's a bunch at your house.
Yeah.
I think about something like 5 Points Gangs of New York.
I almost brought that today, but I decided you had enough.
Eschaton.
Oh my gosh.
Eschaton
so
is
good.
probably a 10 out of 10 game for me.
Well, and it's a deck builder and area
It's
control,
such a tight deck builder.
but it's so good too. It's just fun too.
and
it's just
and
a fun
great
game.
little theme. There's all sorts of games like that out there.
The couple of Dune games that we have, I just love
Yeah.
them. Dune, Warfare, or what? Not Warfare.
Dawn of the Fremen.
Dawn of the Fremen. Such an underrated game.
I don't know anyone else who's played it.
No, and that game is phenomenal.
Dune, Dawn of the Fremen, really
So,
good.
from Gale Force 9
Really
is so very good.
Yeah,
But
there's-
another one that I would play at any time is Quantum. Do you remember Quantum?
Quantum's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, pirate game.
Oh, Merchants and Marauders.
Merchants and Marauders.
Yeah.
No. Big pirate game.
Oh, yeah, Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning.
Oh, that
Merchants
game's
and
awesome.
Marauders also good.
Yeah. Dead Reckoning's fantastic.
Dead Reckoning's amazing.
Yeah.
Dead Reckoning.
We could go on and on,
Yes.
right? What I would say is we love war games.
Yes.
There is nothing better than a great hex encounter war game.
Yeah.
But I also love these games, and these are the games that we play when we're not trying to do review copies, or we just want something that plays in 2 hours and you have a great time.
Or it's like, it's a family day. You know,
Yeah.
it's Memorial Day.
Yep,
We're all
let's
together.
play together,
Cool,
yep.
Let's get out a game. No one wants to play, you know, Empire of the Sun.
Well, Brazen Chariots, we talked about it. That is a fantastic system. We love that system.
It's incredible.
We're not breaking that out at a Memorial Day picnic.
No.
That's a 2-player, 8-hour game. I
mean, it's
can't.
much longer than
I know, but we'll play a scenario that'll be 4 to 6 hours.
But you pull out something like Legendary Encounters Alien.
You can play it with anyone.
Right.
At any time.
3-4 people can play it. And
Plum
it takes
Island Horror,
an hour.
Arkham Horror, Dead of Winter. Hour to 90 minutes. Great games, lots of interaction, combat.
Well, like
Nothing-
I think about Man Nostrum. We took that on a big family vacation when we had a big
had a
family
blast.
reunion.
Until Kelly had to leave and it ruined the game.
Yes, we had to leave.
I was upset.
But yeah, that was
Because we don't get to play it that often.
no, finding excuses to
Yeah.
play these kinds of games as well as what we do for the Players Aid is something that I think
Yeah, agreed.
is important. But yes, so hopefully that was a useful window and an insight into what it is that we like and what it is that we do outside of this.
But I want to reiterate, we do love war games.
Oh, yeah, that's-
I don't want someone to think, oh, they just do it because they're hacks. No, we love war games too.
Yeah.
And every one of these games we talked about is in essence a war game.
Or has some element of it that
that we
of the
love.
things that I
Yeah.
like in a war game.
That's just who we are. So anyway, I had a blast doing this.
Yes, it's
That
fun.
was fun. I realized how many games we have.
Well, and this is like just a smattering, right?
Oh
So
my gosh.
if you have
Shelves.
games that you like, let us know what those are as well. And, the kinds of non-war games that you might be playing just for funsies.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
But appreciate you very much for tuning in. I've been Alexander for theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.